Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Hello and welcome to the Corona Cinema Podcast with me, your host, Leon Waite, and I'm joined by Matthew Westcott.
Good afternoon.
By Ross Herbert.
The name's Herbert. Ross Herbert.
And Mason Carr.
Good evening.
What? Are you all right? Mason isn't here because he doesn't do podcasting anymore. He's got too many bigger fish to fry. So those were the impressions of his monotone voice there. But
I think if we coerce him next week, he'll do it because I think he wants to watch Dune. So that might.
Does he actually want to watch Dune?
Yeah, he says he's going to watch it.
Or does he just think that's what he might just think that's what the cool kids do? So he's like, oh, I'm going to watch Dune because everyone else is.
I think he's been a bit too social now. He's been a social butterfly.
Oh, yeah.
He says he's got a big commute on the big boy train.
I've got a big commute. Oh.
He'll be tired. He needs his bath by 6:30.
Oh yeah. He could podcast in the bath. To be fair.
Yeah, to be fair.
Should we all do that one day? That'd be funny.
Together.
Together.
Yeah, why not?
You imagine a video. I reckon that could go viral on YouTube. Just a video of 4 guys with
All
microphones
guys jerking each other off in the bath. Why not?
Yeah, that'd definitely go. And it's National Coming Out Day, so it would fit in nicely.
Yeah.
Let's do it now and get it out there before midnight.
All right. Yeah, I'm
All
done.
right, let's do it.
Can you get from Swansea to Welling to Hull in hour 5?
Easy.
On a jet? On a jet?
Probably,
On a jet, you could do
Concorde.
that. On a private plane or whatever.
If we just
Concorde.
get some of the shareholders of the pod to club
Yeah.
together, we'll get a jet.
Yeah.
Get a jacuzzi.
Oh, fuck. Here it starts. A big coughing at all the worst points. Fuck. Should we just start? Because we're just gonna start.
I thought we started.
Yeah, we started, but like start.
I was like, start.
You doing this bit, then yeah.
Oh, gone in.
This tickle my throat. It's just gonna be annoying the whole time.
That was pre's. Let's get on to the.
Going to the big boy stuff.
The pre-pods, the big boy stuff. Okay, the head-to-head. And since No Time to Die out. I was going to say No Time to Die is out. No Time to Die out. They should call it that. Yeah, it's No Time to Die out. No Time to Die out. No Time to Die is out this week. Doing that for the main review. Before we do the 2 previous installments of the James Bond franchise, Daniel Craig's Bond, which is Skyfall and Spectre. Let's start with Skyfall. James Bond's loyalty to M is tested when her past comes back to haunt her. When MI6 comes under attack, 007 must track down and destroy the threat, no matter how personal the cost. Ooh, a lot going on there. Matty, Skyfall, what do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I like the newer James Bonds because there's a bit more now continuity by having not only Daniel Craig obviously playing the role really well, but continuity with the storylines. I feel like this is kind of extends beyond Skyfall, but having these stories kind of link and then each film not being a standalone film works better, I feel, than what they've done in the past, rather than, I think before it feels like they write one film and then they release it, get like good reviews, blah, blah, blah. Then they choose to keep the Bond on again and then do another film. These feel like they're written kind of coherently. And I feel like Skyfall was a nice kind of like accumulation from the last few films into Skyfall. And I feel like it's a nice place to kind of not necessarily leave like they could have left it here for Daniel Craig here, and I wouldn't have been disappointed, if that makes sense. Like the song Skyfall that's obviously like a solid song to have. Wow, even my voice is going now. And it's like fast action, and like the Home Alone bit, kind of like when they go back to the old man and they got to booby trap it. That's quite nice, and they didn't do it too much. And also when they talk about like the old ways are best and they go back to using knives, like I think that as well plays on like old parts of Bond, where even though it's about the tech and the gadgets, having that aspect to it as well is really nice. How it's kind of like just getting down to basics, and it's more or less a grudge and revenge. Like it's not just like the old ways of how to kill people, but the old motives and a plot point to a film. Like the villain wants revenge on M, he wants her to pay. That's basically it. There's no motives about anything else, to be honest. And I think that's quite nice as well.
I have no relationship to the Bond franchise. I'm desperately trying not to cough right now. The Bond franchise outside of Daniel Craig. Until last week, I hadn't seen any of the Bond films. I watched the first 4 Daniel Craigs, about to cry. I watched the first 4 Daniel Craigs in 2 days, including Skyfall, obviously, in preparation for No Time to Die. And I saw a tweet. It was like, Skyfall is your favorite Bond film for people who don't like James Bond. And like, it's hard for me to understand that without seeing any other Bond other than Daniel Craig. But even within his films, this one is like a different tone, a different vibe. Like they were trying to make like a prestige Bond film with this. They got on an Oscar-winning director, Roger Deakins doing the cinematography, all that kind of stuff, to really try to elevate it. A proper elite actor as a villain. We're just trying to elevate on all levels. I think that definitely made for the most satisfying watch for me out of all these Daniel Craig films that I've experienced over the last 2 weeks for the first time. So yeah, Skyfall was a big one for me. It's basically the only one I think I'd come back to in this fight. I'm not terribly, as a first experience of Bond, I'm not terribly enamored with it all. Still pretty decent. I'm kind of like Mission Impossible is my spy franchise, and it's kind of don't need another one. And even have Fast and Furious doing a bit of this kind of stuff as well on a dumber level. But yeah, Skyfall, banger. Ross, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I think Skyfall, like I think James Bond films, they all have like certain standards with how good, like they've got to be a certain level of good, I guess, like especially the Daniel Craig ones. But Skyfall in itself is such just a great, even just like standalone film. It's remove the fact it's a James Bond film. It's just a great film, I think. Like as you said, like the Roger Deakins cinematography and like like a good director and stuff, it made all the difference. And this is like, it's not even just, yeah, as I say, not even just like a good James Bond film. It is just a great film, I think, in general. And I think most people would probably say this is the best James Bond film, or the best Daniel Craig film at least. So yeah, I think there's quite a lot to say about it, which we'll get onto. But yeah, just an amazing, like greatly crafted film as well, going back to his roots, etc. I think really well done.
Following up Skyfall was Spectre. Do I usually say what year it comes out? No, I think I stopped doing that actually. Pretty sure it came out in 2015, Skyfall was 2012. But yeah, following Skyfall, we had Spectre. A cryptic message from James Bond's past sends him on a trail to uncover the existence of a sinister organization named Spectre. With a new threat dawning, Bond learns the terrible truth about the author of all his pain in his most recent missions. Yes, he does. But was that superior to Skyfall? Like on the same level, Ross? What do you think of Spectre, your first impressions?
So I watched it when it came out in the cinema like 6 years ago or whatever, and I haven't gone back to it since then until like I watched it the other day. And I think it's because like following Skyfall, same director, it's, you expect the same sort of, like Christoph Waltz, you expect him to kind of be the same as kind of Javier Bardem's villain standards, etc. I think he does, like, it's not a bad film, but it's just not as good in any way, like story or the way it's crafted, the way it's shot, anything. It's just kind of falls a lot flatter on a lot of those, pretty much every single element in Spectre does, I think. And I think that's why it's like, it's not a bad film by any standards, but it's just, I think, disappointing in comparison, which is where kind of my stance is on Spectre. Not to say I don't enjoy it though. It's still like it's still a good, enjoyable, action-packed spy film. And kind of, as I say, it's James Bond standard. It's enjoyable, but yeah, not quite Skyfall.
I feel like it wasn't as bad as I thought it might be based on the reputation among fans that I've seen, even like the critical reception or the IMDb score things on Twitter. I feel like it was slandered quite a lot. Like probably most people would have it as the worst Daniel Craig. Don't know, but No Time to Die fits into that yet. But I don't know. I don't know if people prefer Spectre to Quantum of Solace. I thought Quantum of Solace was like a solid action film. Nothing special going on there, but it's like solid, and Casino Royale is pretty good. But yeah, Spectre it wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be. There's actually quite a few moments I enjoyed. Again, yeah, it's the come down, especially watching them back to back. The come down from Skyfall to Spectre was stark in a way, but I still thought it was like basically none of these films are like proper bad. Like Fast and Furious, there's like a few films in there which are like legit at times unwatchable. But I thought Spectre was just fine. Matty, what do you think of Spectre?
Spectre's interesting because like on paper it's like it is a good film and there's no part of it that's not unenjoyable, if that's a word. Like it's all good. But it kind of just seems that Skyfall is better and it hits on nostalgia better. And I mean, obviously parts of I like Dave Bautista in it because he's huge and like his fight scene has a real intensity to it. Something that Skyfall didn't really get with its villain because he was more of a psychological villain. And then obviously Christoph Waltz in Spectre brings another intensity to the villain as well. But I didn't really get the plot, if that makes sense. I understood they need to get rid of this dude. And it kind of felt half written in that he's been in control of everything before because it wasn't really alluded to in the previous films. Because what's the villain in Skyfall's name?
Raul Silva.
Yeah, basically. So like it wasn't really, he kind of seemed to act out of his own like will to get rid of M, basically. And then in this, it sounds like Christoph Waltz sent him after him, but I feel like he was going to do it himself anyway. It doesn't really make sense unless he equipped him to do so. And also, I didn't really understand what their plan was. That they needed to kill Christoph Waltz, but they just went to the desert and just walked into his place, allowed them to take their weapons away, and then just let Daniel Craig get tortured. And then he just used a watch that turned out to be a bomb that we didn't even know was a bomb. We just thought it told the time. Like it's just a lot just didn't really. And then just shoots his way out, blows up the whole place, but doesn't kill the guy, and then leaves it for him to chase him back to London. Like it just doesn't. A lot of it doesn't really make sense, you know. And with someone like the resources of Christoph Waltz, why would he even go to London himself? Surely he would just get like Bond and all of them just sniped from a rooftop. Or like, I don't know, it just feels like quite brittle and flimsy, if that makes sense. And kind of how Daniel Craig and this girl are just like in love immediately as well, which all he ever does is just shag people and then not fall in love. It's just weird. Yeah, I don't know. It feels a lot more brittle as a film, but obviously the action and parts of it, and I really like this. Like they're all more captivating, but I really liked the scene where he addresses James when he's on the balcony, and he doesn't even know he's there. But there definitely could have been some flashbacks or something that tied James and Christoph Waltz is past together, if that makes sense, because obviously they were raised by the same man, more or less, because Christoph Waltz's father got James through his parents' death. And that was something to me. I think I've read the old books as well. And also read the Young Bond books by like Charlie Higson as well. Like nothing really of that is like kind of alluding to that. So it doesn't really make sense. So something a bit more to ground that would have been nicer. Maybe some opening scenes. There could be like a flashback to James's childhood, so we can actually flesh out James's character a bit more, rather than just being this just mischievous guy who's got OA in both knees, but's really good at shooting, but is a bit of a sleazebag and drinks a lot. You know, like there could be more to his character, I think.
In terms of understanding the plot, yeah, I don't remember pretty much anything about like the logistics of what's going on. I watched it a week ago. In the moment, I probably vaguely understood what was happening. A week on, there's no way I'm remembering what's going on, which is it doesn't really matter for movies like this. But yeah, even like Mission Impossible, which I love about most of those films, like you're not there for understanding all the like play by play of every plot detail that's going on. It's one of them ones. But yeah, categories. Feel like the winners all basically already been decided in those opening exchanges, but who knows? Maybe someone will spring a surprise along the way. Performances, Ross.
I think what these kind of, because obviously it's generally the same cast. I think realistically we've got to look at Javier Bardem and Judi Dench versus like Christoph Waltz, Dave Bautista, like maybe like Andrew Scott as well, and they do as well, I guess. It's kind of hard to, because Javier Bardem was really good. Obviously, Judi Dench kind of, her last performance was pretty good, but I don't know. It's just hard to kind of compare because, as I say, like in the whole, like, I don't know, Ralph Fiennes and Daniel Craig and stuff, it's all the same kind of performances from them and Ben Whishaw and whatnot. So it's hard to like put a finger on what's better, but so I think at the end of the day, it's got to boil down to Javier Bardem versus Christoph Waltz, and I think Javier Bardem, because he's kind of being a more psychologically challenging villain, he is able to give a better performance and has more scope to kind of to do that. So I think it's got to go for Skyfall in that sense. I mean, yeah, I do like They Say Do. As Madeline Swan as well in Spectre, and I'd say I like Christoph Waltz. He's not bad in it, but I just don't think he gets as much scope or as strong writing either. I think it hasn't like to work with. I don't think he has much. So yeah, Skyfall for me.
I feel like Christoph Waltz has nothing that great outside of the Tarantino films. Like realistically, when you actually go through it, like I don't really know what else he's done that's like memorable. It's kind of like the Tarantino dialogue is like perfectly suited to his acting style. I don't know. Maybe he'll have another role come along at some point. But yeah, in this one, he's just kind of fine, like just a generic Bond villain, all conquering kind of thing. Like yeah, didn't have that much screen time either, to be fair as well. That was a bit surprising. But yeah, overall, I'm trying to think. I think Daniel Craig's best performance might actually be in No Time to Die. Potentially, there's a lot going on there emotionally for him. We'll talk about that later. But out of these two, it's probably Sky. It's just hard to not go with Skyfall for a lot of this stuff, just because they just hit the right notes in so many ways with that film. I really enjoyed Ben Whishaw as well as Q. And he obviously gets time in both films, but I think it's his first scene when they meet in the museum, and he kind of briefs Bond on the gadgets he's going to have and all this kind of stuff before he goes onto his mission. That's like one of my favorite scenes in the film, and for that alone, that kind of nudges me in saying that his performance in Skyfall is better. So you know what, I'm going for Skyfall overall. Matty, what do you think performances?
I think Ross is right. It's basically Bardem versus Waltz, and I'd say Waltz turns in a pretty average performance for him, if that makes sense. Well, not even for him, but just for a villain. It was just like him just doing villain shit, you know? Just pretending to be superior, basically. And Bardem was, even though Bardem's got much higher performances out there, it was still excellent. And like he really brought emotion and like connection to why he hated M so much when he took the the kind of like the denture thing that held the damage that was done from the cyanide in Skyfall. That scene like meant something. It was powerful, and like even through his death and like his motives were just strange, and like it worked much more. There's much more intent and much more like fear through his actions than there was from Waltz. Waltz was much less personable as a villain, and whether that's due to writing, it wasn't given enough scope, but it just felt those performances were stronger. Obviously, Ralph Fiennes is like a constant, and Daniel Craig is also a constant. Yeah, Daniel Craig not really given much scope to like mentally break down or open up in any of these films. He's always just been a tough old dog in both of them. So it's like at some point he needs to have a little cry about his like childhood, but I don't think they'll ever get to see that. So he himself is not really given much to work with. So I think I'd give it to Skyfall. And I think as well, Leon, you're overlooking some of Daniel Craig's like best performances. I'd probably say Knives Out, Logan Lucky, which is very strong, and Cowboys versus Aliens, which is a highly underrated film. You know,
I was only talking about as Bond.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's a bigger conversation later. But yeah, and I was thinking about Christoph Waltz as well, and he just hasn't really been in much that's been strong, you know. And I feel like Tarantino's cinematic grandeur and kind of like not scripted, but kind of like romanticized dialogue works really well for him. So yeah.
I watched Inglourious Basterds again yesterday. So yeah, I had Christoph Waltz on the brain again after that. Just bangs so much nowadays. Can't believe it.
Yeah, and then when you compare that Christoph Waltz to anything else, that is unbeatable.
Yeah, I guess in Django, he's like, I think he really suits like the high at the end, obviously, Inglourious Basterds, he just suits like this like sophisticated kind of dialogue that he gets within those films, which he doesn't get in
He likes
Skyfall.
he likes big words.
Yeah, and big speeches and stuff, and he doesn't get that. Like, there's a bit in Skyfall where James Bond is tied up, and Javier Bardem, he just comes out of the lift, and as he's walking towards him, he does this whole massive speech. And I think Christoph Waltz needed like something like that within this film as well, but he didn't really get that.
Yeah, Skyfall just across the board. I kind of forgot as well, but you get Ray Fiennes and Judy Dench obviously in Skyfall, whether she dies. Spoiler alert. By the time you get to Spectre, so you get Ray Fiennes, Judy Dench, Albert Finney when they go back to Scotland in the old house. There's just so much just awards-worthy talent across the board doing stuff. Basically, they're overqualified for these roles. Really, they could be doing leading their own prestige film, but they just pack it with so much talent. So yeah, Skyfall's going to win that, and that'll lead us into story, which I think is where Skyfall is most captivating for me in terms of the differences to the other Bond films. Like the whole thing with Raoul Silver and his revenge plot on M. It's just something different to the other villains' like motives. Usually it's just kind of like taking over the world in some capacity, New World Order, whatever. This is more like a personal thing. Like he's trying to ruin her life because of the trauma he suffered at her hands. And that kind of, like Matty said, like that kind of like personal edge to it just makes it more compelling, I thought. And you even get like, that's only like, because what is it, like 45 minutes before you meet him? Maybe longer? Because quite a while before they actually travel to his island. And you have that, like Ross, that scene, yeah, that long, long monologue when he comes in from the back of the shop. And because then before that, you have the whole James Bond is dead plot going on from the start for a bit. So you kind of get like two movies, that whole bit leading up to meeting Raoul Silver, and then he takes over, and then it's all about his revenge plot. So yeah, I think that the whole basically the villain's motives in the film make for a far more compelling story, I thought, watching these James Bond films. Matt, is that something you feel when you watch Skyfall?
Yeah, I completely agree, because someone who's just doing something for money and domination and just like general like financial control, it's a tad boring, because then Bond just becomes another person who's just in the way of their business, you know. to have that personal touch kind of adds like not even touch, like it's consuming him his vengeance. And it's it just works better than the other film, and then probably most of the Bonds that we've seen, how powerful and how compelling it is, just to see between the two characters. And I suppose they tried to add a little bit of that in Christoph Waltz being jealous of James because he took all of his father's attention when he was a child, but they didn't play on that enough other than a few lines of dialogue. You know, there was no real strong speech like Bardem had, and there was no flashbacks or anything like that. Maybe they were just scared to cast someone as a young Bond. I'm not sure. Like, I don't know why they wouldn't include those kind of scenes.
That whole link between him and Blofeld just felt really shit to me. The way they did it, I don't. Yeah, that was where I was kind of like rolling my eyes, and the way they handle it, the details, it all just felt a bit hokey. So yeah, didn't enjoy that, mate.
Like that could have been a movie, you know, like that instead of Spectre would have been really good. Like if they'd made it really personal, but they hadn't, because all it was Bond had just been told to go find him by M, who had just died. Spoilers. Basically, that was it. You know, he's just trying to kill this dude. He barely even knows why he's trying to kill this dude. But then, at some reason, we don't even know. There was no realization for Bond. All there is Christoph Waltz informs the crowd by lovely kind of storytelling that him and Bond had shared the same father, or at some point, basically. And that was it. Like there was, and Bond didn't even look surprised. So there was no real reveal. You know, you never even got to see Bond's reaction to it. So it's just a bit dead emotionally.
Ross, what are you looking at for story?
I think Spectre feels more kind of scraped together and just kind of put together than Skyfall's actually been more like thought out. I think with Spectre, it just seems like the story they've come up with is like, oh, it was all the films prior to this, it was him all along. And now, and that's and he's got to stop him now. That's kind of it, really. I think the most interesting part of the story is the stuff to do with like Mr. White and Madeline Swan, that aspect of it. Whereas Skyfall, I think, because it's Javier Bardem, kind of his connection to M, and James Bond, it's a lot to do with the relationship between Bond and M as well. So you get a lot of that kind of story in there, and it's a more fleshed out story, more kind of depth and detail and like intimacy within the story and with M and Bond, and because of Javier Bardem's connection to M, I think that gives Skyfall a lot more, as I say, like intimacy between the characters and the story, and going back to Bond's roots, seeing where he was like raised, etc. It gives a lot more kind of a story that's not only better but a lot more interesting, and that you feel more of a connection to. And I think that's what Skyfall does a lot better than Spectre.
Just the pacing of Spectre as well, like you said, how it feels like just like scraped together. Like the build up to the big climax with Blofeld and like arresting him when he's like daring Bond to kill him. The whole build up to that like was pretty non-existent. Like it's just like a couple minutes, then this climactic kind of battle happens, and then it's just done. It's like it wasn't a very well paced story, I thought. Was kind of like the glaring fault with it above anything else. So yeah, as expected, Skyfall is up again 2-0. Visual style, already mentioned Deakins on the mic for Skyfall, shooting those shots. We got Hoyt van Hoytema, the guy who did Tenant. I think did he do Black Panther? I completely imagined that. I can't remember. I don't know if he's done any other Christopher Nolan films. But yeah, Deakins for Skyfall really wanted to elevate the visual style, the cinematography going on in that film. Some incredible shots. going on there. But Spectre still, I think Spectre retained a lot of that. Like new cinematographer, I think Spectre retained a lot of that prestige feel just in terms of the way the film looked. I thought it wasn't a massive. That wasn't the most the biggest drop out of all the other things that were going on. That wasn't a big drop in quality from Skyfall to Spectre. But yeah, visual style, Ross, what are you thinking?
I think if you have Roger Deakins as a cinematographer, he's just gonna be able to do things that a lot of others won't be able to. And I think because you go to Scotland and have these like big cinematic shots in these like beautiful landscapes, it looks amazing and incredible. And I think just that kind of like dark visual style that they use like within the house and with the battle going on, and it, like I say, like in Scotland, like in the church at the end, it looks awesome. And like yeah, I think that's what wins it over, really. Just kind of Skyfall has because as you said, Spectre's not bad at all. It does carry on kind of the kind of expectations of what it should look like cinematically after Skyfall. But I think Skyfall, just because it does have these like beautiful landscapes, this amazing kind of these big wide shots in Scotland and the Highlands, it hands down wins this one, I think.
I do like the opening in Spectre, the whole the kind of way the camera moves through that. What is it, like the Day of the Dead or whatever? Can't remember what country they're in. But that whole opening, building up to seeing what Bond is up to, who he's trying to track down, who he's fighting. I enjoyed that bit, the way Spectre opened. But yeah, Skyfall, there's just too much to love about Skyfall. Anytime they shoot on the underground, on the London Underground as well, I'm always all in, no matter what it is. So this one is really well done in terms of the chase that's going on through the tunnels and the way Bond jumps onto the back of the train at one point as well. So yeah, enjoy the way that's shot and everything like that. So yeah, Skyfall still doing bits. Matty, visual style, Skyfall, Spectre, what are you thinking?
I say both are really strong, but also really similar. I don't know if visual style it kind of comes into play here, because I like Skyfall, especially towards the end, like with like the old house and the church, as Ross said. But that kind of plays itself because, I don't know, Spectre doesn't really lend itself to have those kind of things in it. But then again, both have like strong elements, like the openings to both are both really enjoyable and like shot in like a very powerful, dynamic way. Both of the fights are shot like quite strong and powerfully, and like the chase scenes, like quite, the music and everything ties together really well. So I wouldn't say you could really split these two on visual style. I'd say it's like a solid draw. Even though you're not allowed to say that, I'd say there's nothing that is left particularly memorable out there that would discern either for me. I don't know if that's like a lazy way of saying, I don't know. But yeah.
Oh well, Skyfall wins anyway because me and Ross picked it. So it's completely irrelevant, man. So you sat on the fence, got splinters on your arse for no reason. Tone. Kind of already talked about the kind of elements that contribute to the tone of the two films, especially Skyfall, in terms of that revenge plot and everything that's going on there. But tone, still, ultimately, is just, they're both James Bond films, so a lot of the tone is carried throughout the franchise, or at least the Daniel Craig part of the franchise. Just the action, adventure, spy, thriller, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, tone. Matt, what are you thinking about tone? Is there anything that's really different about these two films that caught your attention?
I'd say the tone as a whole is better in Skyfall. Like, it's hard to put your finger on it, but it's kind of like them being completely on the run from this thing. Like they're being completely bested and they don't really know how to kind of react to it, and they've just basically gone on the run. And the idea that the 00 program is under threat, it seems to be more powerful in Skyfall, even though it does actually get what's it called, cancelled in Spectre, if that makes sense. It seems much more of a big deal in Skyfall, and it doesn't really seem to change anything in Spectre. James Bond just carries on doing what he's doing. The tone of him getting shot and then falling off the bridge and then falling basically off the radar and then being psychologically and physically inept for his job in Skyfall is just a lot more stronger. And yeah, its tone's more impactful and reflects more of the story, and obviously that's going to be more helpful in portraying the messages.
I think I just like how Skyfall kind of there's like echoes between the situation of Bond and Silver. Like not Bond is not obviously not as traumatized as him, and he's not been outcast, but it's still both. They're both kind of they show what spies are to the British government in terms of they're just disposable. Really, like they're there to like serve their purpose, and that kind of comes throughout the film, and that kind of there's this elevated emotional dramatic element when you have themes like that, just kind of puts it on another level. And Spectre isn't as sophisticated in terms of the themes they're trying to explore there. It's a bit more surface level. So yeah, I think that puts it up there for me. But Ross, what do you think for tone?
I think straight from the start, in Spectre, you've got him, getting shot off the bridge. That fucking banger from Adele.
I think you'll find that Skyfall, Ross.
Oh, that's what I meant. Spectre. So Skyfall. Skyfall.
No, Skyfall.
Skyfall. He gets shot off the bridge. Fucking banger from Adele. And from there, it sets this whole like a dark emotional tone for the whole film that follows. Like Spectre's more of a like, I'd say it's more of a like a action epic compared to Skyfall. And I think the two like starting sequences set that tone in like as it is. And I think you're always, well, unless you're just going for like a generic action film, which I think Spectre kind of more is. With Skyfall, it is dark, it is emotional, it is intimate. It's about his relationship with M and like family, going back to his roots. And I think like 99% of the time, you're just going to get a better kind of tone and ability for the audience to connect out of that. And I think that's why Skyfall like smashes this category, I think.
Another point for Skyfall. Moving on to the final unique category. Ross mentioned a banger from Adele, but I'm doing this category as best song. And you know what? I prefer the Sam Smith writings. Is it Writings on the Wall or Writing on the Wall for for Spectre? I actually prefer that song. I don't know, maybe it's just because Skyfall was like such a monster hit. It was everywhere. Like that took out, like, even though I wasn't even really, I wasn't watching the Bond films as they were coming out in cinema, but I maybe more aware that there was a Bond film out, and I wasn't even into movies at that point as well. So maybe more aware there was a Bond film out because of how big this Adele song was. So maybe it's just because it's been overplayed, but I don't know. As I was listening, the way they do it in these films, which I like, where they you have the little opening sequence, and then they do the fuck's sake, all these calendar notifications. They do all these they have the little animated title sequence with the whole song that plays. That's like, I'm guessing that's a hallmark of the Bond franchise. I'm guessing they were doing that before the Craig films. So yeah. And when Writings on the Wall was playing and Spectre, I was like, yeah, it's a banger. It's a vibe. So I'm gonna give Spectre a point on that one. But we'll see. Is anyone else feeling it? Matty, do you even remember the song that Sam Smith did? I don't know. I feel like that might have skipped your mind. I don't know. What are you thinking?
May have got lost in my unmusical ears. Now, I do prefer the Sam Smith song. Obviously, the Skyfall is a banger, as Ross so aptly put. But I feel like maybe because you're just more used to the Skyfall one, it's just been out longer, and you like prefer things that are new sometimes. It is pretty hard. So yeah, I think I'd prefer the score from Spectre.
Absolute scenes in the final category. Ross, what song do you prefer?
I like both of them. Spectre is more Bondy, I think, because it comes in with a big dun, 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 like that bit. It's like it's more of a Bondy feel to it, whereas Skyfall's more of like a big like emotional, powerful powerhouse song. But yeah, Spectre. They I think Skyfall suits the film more, but Spectre, in terms of like a Bond film, Writings on the Wall, I think Sam Smith did really well with that. Plus, it's nice to have a song that doesn't have the same name as the film. Yeah, I've whilst we're on the topic, I really like Another Way to Die, the Jack White and Alicia Keys one. That's a tune. That's really different, that one as well. And then I'm not a huge fan of the Billie Eilish one. But
Yeah, I can't remember it clearly, but I don't think I like it.
but yeah, I think that's just the thing. If you can't remember it that well, that means it can't be that good. Yeah, it's so hard because I like both of them, but I think just because I feel bad for Spectre, I'll give it a point. It's more he did a better job. I prefer because I like the song Skyfall, but I think Sam Smith's Writings on the Wall is a better like it sounds more Bondy. So yeah, Writings on the Wall for me.
Bondy. Yeah. Spectre doesn't need your pity, but it gets a point, gets 3-0 on that category, but loses 5-1 overall. But if you're doing last goal wins, then it would have won. So there you go. If you look at it like that. I feel like if I knew, if I'd seen these films before, probably wouldn't have done this as like a head-to-head because one film is just clearly better than the other.
I did tell you last time.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did on the last podcast. Listen back to it.
No, you didn't.
I told you that
You changed
maybe
shit.
it was after I told you that Specs is probably like the worst Daniel Craig one.
Your mum's the worst Daniel Craig one.
Fuck off.
But yeah, shame. I'll rewatch Skyfall. Now I've got a box of broadcast, the thing that uni gives you, where like you have access to like anything that's been on TV in the last 10 years. That's how I watched these all the James Bond films. They're all on there. I know Quantum of Solace wasn't on there, but everything else has been shown on TV in the last 10 years, so I can just watch for free. Madness. Although you have to skip through the adverts, which is a bit annoying. That also actually affects the. I feel like that affects the way the pacing of it for you when you have to like. You have to. You're watching it, and then it's like okay, got to run. It's on adverts now. Got to run. Try to skip forward, and it's not like a certain streaming servers you can just like skip forward quite nicely. Like the arrows maybe go like every 10 seconds you could use the arrows and just go and get in nicely. This one it was very like what's the word? Just like fiddly to try and get it in the right time. So yeah, that affected my viewing experience, but it was free. And now it's the game. Go, Ross.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I don't really know how to do this. Maybe because it's just like Q&A. Do you want to do like just answer out loud, or should we get a buzzer app up, or
Wait, what? No, don't complicate it.
Yeah, but no, I'm asking what's the best way. Should we just try and shout out the answer?
Yeah.
Try and count your points this time, though.
Oh yeah, okay.
You're playing, yeah?
I'm gonna lose for sure.
Oh, Leonie's gonna play.
Who's Leonie?
No. All right. You ready? So I think that's 10 questions.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't know why I said yeah. I have no idea.
Question 1. Which Bond actor portrayed Bond in only one film?
Oh, he was a model and he didn't act before. And it was it was when Sean Connery finished, and then Sean Connery came back for another film after this guy.
Yeah.
He's got like it's like a French sounding name, I think.
Kind of, yeah.
In his first name begins with D.
No.
The second name begins with D.
No.
The second name begins with M.
No. No one knows, Matty. You got any idea? Let's try and You got any idea? You can see the
I have-
answers.
No idea.
Adele.
Adele.
George Lazenby. George Lazenby was the
Oh
answer.
yeah.
Adele.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, George Lazenby. Yeah, as you said, he did one between the Sean Connery
Yeah.
ones. Yeah. All right. Question 2. Who directed both Skyfall and Spectre? James Gunn.
I know the answer, but I wanted to see if Matty knew it.
Yeah, mate, do you know it?
Sam Mendes.
Sam Men. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What?
What?
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
Okay.
that.
All right. Question 3. Who sang the famous Bond theme, "Live and Let Die"?
Live and let die. Wait, that's a Bond theme. I didn't know that.
Sounds right.
Sam Smith.
Sam Smith. He was born. Live and let die.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different song then.
Sure it's
Isn't
the
it
same
like
name.
The Clash? No, it's not.
No.
I don't really know bands.
Mate, you
Queen.
got any idea? It's
The
not. It's
Beatles.
not a band.
Oh, is it not?
Oh, you're on the right track with the
John
Beatles, though.
Lennon, Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. There she is.
Nice.
That's a
Yeah.
point to Leon, a point to Leonie. All right.
I'm gonna win.
Paul McCartney was did you see what he said yesterday? He said that it wasn't his fault that the Beatles broke up, it was John Lennon's fault.
Beef. He's only saying that because he can't reply.
Why can't he reply?
Can't fight his kid.
Yeah, bit unfair. All right. So, question 4. Whilst we're on the topic of Bond themes, Shirley Bassey is the only artist to sing 2 themes. Can you name either of them?
Goldfinger, or whatever that's called.
Yeah, she's got it.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger.
And
Oh, go on. What's the other one?
I have no idea who that is.
Diamonds Are Forever.
Diamonds Are Forever. Yeah, there you go.
No.
If you think of them both in your heads, you can think like, oh, that's actually it's the same person, isn't it?
I don't know.
Goldfinger.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Diamonds are forever.
Diamonds
Like,
Forever.
they're
That's
very-
Kanye West.
Whoa. He's pretty old.
She stole his song.
You
All
don't know,
right.
you don't know the Kanye West Diamonds Forever. Like he used that. He used her like her whatever for the chorus, but he raps like around it.
Oh yeah, he always uses I'm pretty sure every single one of his songs is
Like Gold Digger.
Drake.
Yeah.
What like get
I feel like I've heard
clips
that
from other
quite a
songs. I
lot,
can't remember
yeah.
what that's called. But yeah, Kanye. That like every single Kanye song is like that in some kind of way.
With an exaggeration.
Most of them, to be fair, I think you'd be surprised. All right, question 5. Which film does famous Bond girl Pussy Galore appear?
Octopus.
No.
Uh,
I would go quite well.
Just trying to think of any titles.
The what?
Just trying to think of any titles.
Shut up, man. Is it the old Casino Royale, the spoof one?
No,
No,
it's an actual
it's an actual one.
part of it. Yeah.
My mum was literally watching it yesterday.
Well, one Pussy Galore.
Yeah. I can't remember
Where's it
what it's
then?
called.
What is it then?
I don't know.
Bullshit, man.
Was the one the only thing?
Apparently one Pussy Galore.
I thought it was Octopus. Maybe she's watching
No,
it.
it isn't. No one gonna stab a guess.
No,
I can't think of any.
I'll tell you, it's been
titles.
mentioned already.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. There you go. Point,
Oh.
point to May.
Goldfinger.
Goldfinger. All right. Have you got a point each now then?
Yeah. No, Leonie has 2.
Oh no. Oh yeah. Then you both have 1. Okay. All right. Next one. Can you name either of the films famous villain Jaws appears in?
Bowfinger.
No.
Is that even a film? Is that
No, it's a so I was like, what?
Green finger.
Black finger.
What's the submarine one?
Is that the one with? Is Javier Bardem? No.
The big
No, that's
boat
Spectre.
that opens up.
Oh.
No, Skyfall. Fucking.
Oh no, Bowfinger's a film with Eddie Murphy and Steve Martin from 1999.
It's a bit different. Anyone?
uh,
No. They're
Jaws,
older.
the film.
Dun, dun, dun.
I know the actor because he's in Happy Gilmore.
Moonraker. Is that
Yeah,
it?
Moonraker. Yeah, you're right.
I don't know what the other. I don't know what the other one is.
And the Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh.
How did
The
you get
Fly
that?
Who Loved Me.
The Thigh Who Loved Me.
The Fly.
The Fly Who Loved
Fly
Me.
Who Loved Me. I thought you said thigh.
Fly Who Loved Me.
All right. So point to Matty then. Question 7. When was the first Bond movie Dr. No released?
1962.
Correcto.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
I knew
job.
that.
All right. And number 8. What film franchise is the only one that is longer running than James Bond?
Godzilla.
Correct again. Ding, ding, ding.
Brrrah.
Another
That doesn't
point.
count. That doesn't
I
count.
no, I don't know. How many Godzilla films are there?
No, it's not how many there are. It's how long it's been
Oh,
running.
how? Oh, right.
Yeah, James Bond started in 1962. Godzilla's been going since 1954.
Oh, shit.
So it's 8 years older. It's the longest running. Right. It's question 9. Sorry, there's 11 questions, by the way.
Oh,
Question 9. How many of the Bond actors, or the people who portrayed James Bond, were born in England?
6.
That's how many there are in total.
4.
No,
2.
2. Yeah, there's only 2.
Who is it? Daniel Craig
Yeah,
and
Sean Connery. No.
no, he's Scottish.
Timothy
Yes.
Dalton.
No, no.
Roger Moore.
Roger Moore, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bobby Moore.
Yeah, brothers.
I completely forgot what Roger Moore was.
Okay. Question 10. What is the lowest rated Bond movie on IMDb?
No idea.
No,
Diamonds Are
Probably one I've
Forever.
not heard of it. This lowest rated.
it's not that old.
Oh, really?
Quantum of Solace.
No.
Oh no, it's probably a Pierce Brosnan one.
I was gonna say.
Yeah,
it
you're on the
is.
right tracks.
What are they called?
I can't remember anyone.
License to Kill.
No.
Oh god.
I don't know. Don't know
any
any
of
of
them.
the other Pierce Brosnan ones.
You don't. It's Die Another Day,
Um,
which was his last one. Probably
That's
why they got
my
rid of him.
Shame.
All right. What are the scores leading up to the last question?
I have 3.
I have 2.
I don't remember.
Oh, that's
I
good,
wasn't
isn't it?
counting at the time.
Leone has at least 3, probably 4.
I don't know, do I?
Wait, how many
Well,
how
she
many
got
questions?
2.
How many questions are there? Just do that.
There's
I feel
been
like I
10.
might have gone 3.
So if I have
But
3,
no one
Ma-
answered. No one answered the first one
or that last one.
or that one just then. Yeah.
So Leone
That
has,
way.
that means Leone has 3.
Okay. All right. It's number 11. Who is the bookie's favorite to be the next James Bond?
Reggae John Page.
No.
The guy from Bridgerton. That I don't know.
That is
his name.
Reggae. That's
the guy
Reggae
you
John
said.
Page.
Oh
No. He's
No,
like
okay.
third or fourth favorite.
Idris Elba.
No.
Richard Madden.
No.
You told me this literally like a couple of days
Did
ago.
I? Oh well, you should
I
remember
can't.
then.
Well, no, I don't remember.
Sam Smith.
No.
Adele.
Adele.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. Yeah.
Okay. Reboot.
No one. It's quite famous.
No, I know.
Ross is dying inside. They're quite famous.
It's very famous.
Oh,
I
Dev
remember you told
Patel.
me,
No.
and I was like, "Oh, he's really young."
Yeah, he's not really young though.
Oh,
He's in his
Um,
40s.
Is it that dude from Game of Thrones?
No.
That's what I said.
The one from The Bodyguard?
Yeah, I said
No.
Richard Madden.
Oh, fuck.
this is gonna really.
He'll be a
annoy
good
me
James
when you
Bond,
tell
though.
me.
No. He's really famous. He's very famous.
How famous?
Very,
Yeah.
very. I
I
shouldn't
need a
have to. I
net
shouldn't
worth.
need to give you a clue. He's that
On a
famous.
scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
10.
He's
No,
probably not even that.
what?
He's probably not even that famous.
he is. He's
You-
really famous.
On a Dulex color chart, where is he?
He's a famous English actor. Just name some.
Eminem.
H.
Yeah.
Chunks.
Chunks, yeah, Chunks as James Bond. That'd be funny.
That'd be so funny. Shrunk, yeah.
Allow it.
Young Philly is in.
Now let's keep going until we get this. I think.
No, yeah, I
Um,
need
Yeah,
to
go keep
know.
going. Go
Yeah,
on.
I wanna
I'm
keep
not, I'm not
going.
telling any of you. It's too famous for me to give you like clues.
You literally told me the other day, and it's really annoying. I don't know.
Taron Egerton.
No.
Joel.
More famous.
More famous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Judi Dench.
Imagine.
I'd love that.
Daniel Kaluuya.
No.
Oh,
That'd be
I'd
cool
love
though.
that more.
Emily Blunt.
No. It's a man.
Rainn
He
Wilson.
said he's like 40.
No. He's in his 40s.
He's in his 40s. Oh, it's Tom Hardy. For fuck's sake.
Tom Hardy, there we
Oh
go.
my
Yeah.
god, yeah. Oh, what the hell. Yeah, because I remember I was like, he's really young. You're like, he's like 45. I was like, oh, maybe he's not then.
Okay, right. I was gonna do one more as well, actually. It's not a question, but I want you three to go back and forth and name as many Bond films as you can. And if you can't name one, then you're out and it's last man standing.
Moonraker.
Skyfall.
Spectre.
Casino Royale.
Quantum of Solace.
Octopussy.
Live and Let Die.
Goldfinger.
No Time to Die.
Goldeneye.
Thunderball. Bolt.
Die Another Day. Is that been said?
No, I don't think so. Leon?
Doctor No.
The original Casino Royale, the spoof one, still a Bond film.
No, that doesn't count. It's not part of the franchise.
Still a Bond film.
No, I'm talking. I'm talking part.
Your
of the
mum's
franchise.
not part of the franchise. So
Well, you're out the game, so
she's just a spin-off movie.
I'll give you 5 more seconons.
I'll give your mum 5 more seconds. I'm out.
All right, Matty's out. Leon.
Does Doctor No being said?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Yes.
You're out. Leon wins.
Oh.
I swear no one said Skyfall.
I thought that, but then I was
Did
like,
they
no,
not? I
sure.
don't know.
I don't think anyone said Skyfall.
Oh no.
I
You
did.
missed some. You missed a few. From Russia with Love.
I don't know.
You only live twice. Spy Who Loved Me.
Oh yeah.
License
Spy
to
Who
Kill.
Fucked Me. Austin Powers.
Isn't that yeah, Austin Powers. Yeah, you said. I think you said most of the like well-known ones. To be fair. But yeah, Leon won that as well. So what are the points at the end of that then? Leon win, I guess.
Yeah, I got 4. I got 4. Leo, you got 3. Matt, you got 2.
All right, nice.
I'm happy that enough that I'm not last.
Fair enough. Yeah, good job. Good job.
Good job. Good job.
Why would I betray you?
We all have our secrets. You just didn't get to yours yet. The world is arming faster than we can respond. Where's 007?
I need a favor, brother. You're the only one I trust for this.
The world's moved on, Commander Bond.
You were 00.
2 years. So stay in your lane. You get in my way, I will put a bullet in your knee. The one that works.
I thought you two would get along.
Name?
Bond.
James Bond.
So you're not dead.
Hello, Q. I've missed you.
It's the most valuable asset this country has. If you feel yourself losing control,
I'm not going to lose control. James, you gave up everything for her. When her secret finds its way out, it'll be the death of you. What is it?
You don't know what this is.
James Bond. License to kill. History of violence. I could be speaking to my own reflection. Only your skills die with your body. Mine will survive long after I'm gone.
History isn't kind to men who play God.
The main review, the latest installment in the James Bond 007 Daniel Craig franchise, No Time to Die. Did I put the synopsis? Yeah, I did. James Bond has left active service. Oh my God. His peace is short-lived when Felix Leiter, was it Felix Leiter or Leiter? It's in quite a few of these films. Leiter, Later. An old friend from the CIA turns up asking for help, leading Bond onto the trail of a mysterious villain armed with dangerous new technology. That is No Time to Die. Ross, what do you make of this? The newest James Bond films out in cinemas across the UK right now, but not in America. Oh, no, America was this weekend, actually. A film we actually got before America. Just a bit mad. But yeah, No Time to Die. Ross, what do you think?
I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. I think with these now, because I do set my standards at Skyfall, it's just gonna not be as good, I think. And I think I shouldn't set my standards at Skyfall. Maybe I should, because it is a Bond film at the end of the day, and they've done that to themselves. I think there's a few problems with it in terms of story. Maybe I think it's about him just kind of trying to stop a weapon. I think there's nothing like too much going on there in that aspect, and I think with the performances as well, I think Rami Malek isn't. He didn't get enough screen time to be good. I think. Well, he was good, but he didn't get enough screen time to be like excellent. And
I hate him.
Really?
Yeah, I just hate him as an actor. Not gonna lie, don't like him in anything.
I like him, but yeah, I think he didn't get enough in this. And then I think the Lashana Lynch's like new 007 didn't have much to it, and it was a bit of a. It was kind of like a stepping stone for Bond, and that was it, really. Not even that, really. She was just there to like help him. There was nothing really to it there. The strong aspect is his relationship with Madeline Swan, I think, and I think that's one like aspect I did like obviously going on there, and the ending, which is emotional. I think you said earlier that Daniel Craig actually gets a lot more to work with in this one in terms of like an emotional performance, and I think Daniel Craig does really well with the emotion of this film. So yeah, I like Q's always good. Ben Whishal's always good. Naomi Harris is always good. Like I said, dude's good. But Ray Fiennes is always good. So yeah, and I think it's kind of the Rami Malek character was okay. Definitely not as good as Christoph Waltz, and certainly not as good as Javier Bardem. And yeah, that's the kind of main bits of that.
Yeah, I just don't like Rami Malek as an actor, so it's hard to connect with him in any level. It's like the best part of this role was when I didn't see his face in that opening scene, which I really like that opening scene. I think it's a common thing. I feel like seems like Bond seems to always open with a bang, real stylish. technically astute opening, maybe be a bit of action. This is less heavy on like a big action sequence where like Skyfall, where it's literally James Bond falling potentially to his death. But this one is very tense, home invasion kind of vibe, creepy elements to it with the guys with the unnerving mask appearing in the window. Anytime a child's in danger as well, always a recipe for anxiety in any kind of film. So yeah, I thought that opener is really effective, ending with him rescuing her, pulling her from the ice. But yeah, that was my favorite of Rami Malek's performance there. I didn't even have to know that it was him behind that mask. I'm just not a fan of his style of acting. Even him as a person, and like he was on Graham Norton the other week, and anytime he's on talk shows, his voice, he just kind of talks like this all the time, and it's really awkward. And his whole vibe, I just don't really connect to. He's just one of them ones. Sometimes you just don't feel it with certain actors, and he's one. So that was already not off to a great start. But overall, it's weird. There's a lot of parts where I don't really like about this film, but still overall, I feel like I think it's pretty okay. Like I still prefer it, but I probably still prefer it to Spectre, even though there's probably more parts to it that I don't like. Which I don't really understand. I don't actually know what I connected to. I think it's just because they got another good director, a different kind of director, some good action sequence going on there. And yeah, I don't know why I still like it. Because there's like, you say you like the bit with Madeline, the whole deal with Madeline Swan. I hate that. Absolutely. In this film, in the previous film, don't think they have any chemistry. Don't really buy the idea that they're like soulmates or anything. And that's like the big thing they're trying to push to create like the emotional impact at the end. And I just don't connect with it. There's nothing really. I think her performance is like kind of flat, but it's not even that. I think they're just not good screen partners to be like in a relationship than Lea Seydoux and Daniel Craig. So I just kind of never vibe with them. It's kind of a big drawback for what it wants to achieve by the end. And the whole idea of like, yeah, she's now going to tell the kid, like she reveals to him just before he dies that yes, it is his kid, the little girl that she's been raising. And it ends with her saying, yeah, I'm going to tell you about your dad, Bond, James Bond, James Rodriguez. So yeah, that didn't work. Rami Malek didn't work. So it's kind of hard to understand what I did enjoy about this film. Also, I did fall asleep for like 20 minutes in the middle. So I'm going through the Wikipedia plot summary right now. I did that straight after the film as I walked out to try and clarify a few things. And it is weird. When as soon as you read it, you feel like, oh yeah, I feel like I did kind of watch it. Maybe because I was like half awake. I kind of hear what was going on. And now I can like visualize it. But yeah, that's a caveat anything I say about this film. But the fact that I still like it in spite of that, and in spite of all the issues I have with it, is still very weird. But yeah, I don't know. It's strange. I just do like the whole thing with the new 007, LaShawn Lynch, like that was kind of like fine, but I liked their scenes together. Basically everything in Jamaica and all that, it was just very like glamorous and shiny and enjoyable. Yeah. Maybe that's what I connected with. It's a weird one. I don't know. What else are you thinking about this film? I don't know. Is it a fitting way to I've seen different opinions online, but whether this is like a good way for obviously, yeah, spoiler alert, he dies at the end, just in case you didn't realize. Did you think that was effectively handled? That was a good way to end this era of Bond? Because I don't know. I'm not as connected. I've literally only watched the films in the last 2 weeks, so I haven't had 15 years of build up to this moment. But you've been more closely attuned to what's been going on in this franchise. So yeah, do you think this was a fitting end for Daniel Craig's Bond?
It's quite a weird one because yeah, this is the first time they've killed a Bond, and I think it's the first time like Felix Leiter's died as well. But more, yeah, obviously Bond's a much bigger part. Yeah, so is
it a bigger part? I don't know.
I don't know, man. Yeah, it's hard to know what they're trying to do because I don't know well enough to like know how they usually like kill off or end other actors' parts or how that works. So like how I've never seen the last Sean Connery film or the last kind of Pierce Brosnan film or something, or Roger Moore, I don't know how they like end it normally, or if it does have like an end normally. But I think they needed something big in this film, and they did that. I guess I don't know. I think you needed something, especially in the length of the film. I think it being 2 3/4 hours long, it needed something to end it off with a bang. Because I honestly I don't remember enough of this film, of like what happens story wise or anything for it to warrant like 2 3/4 hour length runtime. So it I think I don't know, man, because it's hard to know how they've, because I can't really compare it to how they've done it previously either. But it was a fitting ending to, I think, like Daniel Craig's run, because I've seen all of those. It's yeah, as I say, as you say, like him getting an actual like more emotional performance. I think this was the way they would end it, because he can't go near, Madeline Swan or anything, and him like saving the world pretty much at the end. It's it's him saving the day, saving the world. He can't be with his loved ones because he'll poison them or whatever. The blood's poison them. So yeah, I think laying his life down for everyone, it's fitting enough, I guess.
The runtime is insane. I don't think it really does enough to earn it. Like you say, like you don't have to care about the plot in these kind of films, but you need to at least be like up for the ride as it's going along. And this one, there just wasn't enough like meat on the bone with the plot, I thought, to string you along for that amount of time, and not enough action sequences to kind of within that plot to be like, yeah, it's fair enough. If it's like, yeah, big set piece every 5 minutes, you can kind of be like, fair enough. There wasn't really enough memorable set pieces, action sequences going on within this convoluted plot that I didn't really care about. So yeah, the runtime is a bit insane. The whole like, you would just go, yeah, you just end up just going back to Skyfall, but it is just that the villain's plot was just so much more satisfying in that. Whereas here, the kind of like biomedical nanobots, whatever is going on here, it's just a bit, I don't know, maybe that's just like maybe that is classic Bond. I don't know, I haven't seen any of the other films. Maybe that's more aligned with what you'd expect from a Bond film. But me watching it as someone that's not like a big fan of the franchise, it is just it's not too compelling, I find. This whole nanobot mist and all that stuff. Although I do like the bit where they infiltrate like a Spectre meeting, and that's where like, he doesn't realize the gas has been programmed to take out the Spectre members. Rather, like, do you think it was going to take out Daniel Craig in that moment? But it's been, and he had even saying those words, programmed. It's probably not the right word, but like, the gas is not going to affect Daniel Craig in that moment. It's going to affect, because he's obviously, Rami Malek's trying to kill all the Spectre people because what do they do? They kill his family or something like that. So he's trying to wipe out Spectre. So the gas infects them and takes them out, but not Daniel Craig. The way that works is like, yeah, it's kind of cool, but again, kind of bullshit and kind of hokey. So that's kind of the cheesiest element to it all. I don't know. What do you think of the villain? What do you think the villain's motives in this film and how that all works? What did he? Yeah, so he killed it. So he killed the family. Maybe Spectre killed his family, so he wanted to take out Spectre. But then it was like, even after that, it was like, I want to take over the world, kind of thing. And then he's got to take up Bond to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, like when I was watching it, I was kind of, you have to like think and like wrap your head around it. I think when I came out afterwards, I was like, right. Like I had to look at the plot on Wikipedia to like make sure, kind of thing. It's overcomplicated a lot. I think Christoph Waltz's death was bad as well. Like how she Madeline Swan like sprayed her wrist. Bond just so happened to touch that wrist, and then how out of character it was for him to go die on Christoph Waltz's neck. That was a bit like, They're like, oh, we need to find a way. We need to find a way for him to be killed off, even though he's in a cell. And that's how they did it, and it didn't really make sense. And was kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to, because as I say, like it's not a memorable plot, and I think that means it's not memorable because it's not interesting enough to warrant, and it's too confusing to warrant how, like, it's not interesting enough to warrant how confusing it is, and that makes it forgettable, if that makes sense.
As we're talking about all the issues with the film, I feel like I've figured out why I still enjoy it. It is for those moments, like him with Lashana Lynch in Jamaica, and then probably my favorite bit is him with Ana de Armas, who you just kind of wish was in the film more. Just that whole, basically when it's just Bond and one of the Bond girls, they link up, they perform some kind of action sequence, spy mission or something. They basically take on a mission and execute it together in a stylish way. Usually I love the way they're like communicating with their earpiece, kind of making sure what's going on, so they can execute what they're supposed to be doing. Just that whole vibe in those moments is basically what I'm looking for in this franchise broadly, unless it's going to be Skyfall, which is like on another level. But in the standard Bond film, I guess those are the moments I'm looking for. Yeah, Ana de Armas, Lashana Lynch, I thought those scenes in particular, especially Ana de Armas, they were the most enjoyable, entertaining, titillating, anything like that. All those kind of bits just work more within the Bond framework, rather than this hokey plot by an uninspiring villain. That's where you can kind of lose interest a bit. So yeah, that's basically a few scenes and a few of the hallmarks of this character have convinced me that I enjoyed the film, even though I fell asleep for 20 minutes of it, and I have like loads of problems with it. So it's a bit of a weird one. I'm not actually sure where I'm going to end up landing. But fundamentally, it's just the whole thing with Madeline. Beyond anything else, the whole thing with Madeline, if that doesn't work for you, you're not going to be as torn when you get to the end and they're having their final conversation together. If you're not convinced they're soulmates and she's not just another girl on James Bond's list, then you're not going to be as affected by what happens at the end. And I just don't rate their chemistry at all. Also, the thing with Vesper Lind as well. Like, I thought she was really good in Casino Royale. Like, definitely the best Bond girl. But like, do we need to still be bringing her up by the end? Like, she was really good as a Bond girl, but she kind of still just served the same purpose of just like being there, being charismatic for a bit. They have sex. She dies. Do they have sex? Do they even have sex? They must do. Do they? Casino Royale? No, they must do, surely. I don't know.
I can't remember. It
must do. Yeah, Casino, yeah. But yeah. She basically is just another Bond girl, but they're still playing that idea out there. Yeah, she was the one that got away, kind of thing. I feel like we just don't need that. I know they're trying to reinvent the character, add depth to him, but like still visiting her tomb at the start of this film. Yeah, I feel like they're just some bits they're just trying a bit too hard. I don't know what you think about that kind of thing. Like basically trying to build out this character more. Where I feel like Bond is just a bit of a trashy proper. Like, you can do a prestige film like Skyfall, but you don't need to build out over. You don't need to have like a 5-film arc where he's still thinking about characters from the first film in this way. Like, I don't know. I just don't connect to those ideas.
Because I think minus Skyfall, the other 3 films he doesn't have enough. Even in Skyfall, him himself doesn't have enough depth. You just kind of go back to his roots. I don't think his character has enough like emotional depth for him to like really like go back to visit her grave, etc. And the fact that like Christoph was it Christoph Waltz or Rami Malek? I can't remember which. But they were like, I think Christoph Waltz was counting on him going back to that grave as well. Was just a bit like of a push. Like God, how long has he been waiting to blow him up later? I can't, like, did he do it after Casino Royale? Did he do it after Spectre? Like,
Yeah, I don't really get that. Yeah,
it's I don't know. It was just a bit of a push, like that kind of thing. I did like the scene where they go to Q's house, like him and Bond, Moneypenny, and Q. I think they have like a good relationship.
Yeah, I was asleep then. I feel like I woke up briefly towards the end of that scene. I was going on. Yeah, I missed a lot. And and that's not in the Wikipedia summary. So,
it's where. So the guy kept swallowing that little hard drive.
Yeah.
He basically, not hard memory stick. He basically gave it to Q. They went to Q's house. Him and Moneypenny went to Q's house, and he put it in his computer, and it was like the missing bit to like a file he already had that he needed, and that had all the names of like how they found out that they were targeting like Spectre agents and stuff.
Right. Okay.
So that's basically what happened there, and I just like the chemistry between them three. They bounce off each other quite well. But you just don't get enough of like, you get a fair amount of Q in this, like on the plane and stuff at the end, which I like. But I don't think you get enough of like Moneypenny. But yeah, as you say, I like Anna de Armas. She's with that like kind of 50-minute sequence she's in. I really liked that. She played the kind of like bumbly but intelligent character quite well. But yeah, I quite like I quite like the SA dudes and Daniel Craig's relationship. I like it. So it's it worked for me, that ending. But as you say, if that doesn't work for you, then I think the whole film just there's no the fact he has a kid with her and everything like that, just wouldn't, I assume that just wouldn't work for you, and it kind of was ruined the whole film and the whole like emotional punch at the end. But yeah, it is as you say, there's problems with it, but there's bits that I like. And I think obviously like the bits that I like, the bits that are likable, save the film from a lot of stuff and make it like a good film. I think in the end, realistically, it's a decent watch. It's not, as I say, it's too long. It's too long though, but there's parts throughout enjoyable enough for it to be, for me to enjoy it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes out solid by the end of it. I know that a lot of people that emotional weight will be able to come through, which would help. And it is a bold thing to do, I guess, to end the value. I'm pretty sure from what I've heard, I don't think they've killed Bond before.
No, they haven't
in any shape or form. Yeah, so pretty bold way to go about it. So gotta respect that. But yeah, quite a few elements that didn't work. Some bits I enjoy. Fair sleep. Will I watch it again? I don't know. Probably. Will I? No, yeah, I'll watch it again. Just maybe it will just hit better. I might miss something key. Something else that was key in those 20 minutes. That might have been like, oh my days, yes. Madeline Swan and James Bond, yeah, they are soulmates. Probably not, but yeah, I'll do that. So that is No Time to Die. The latest James Bond film, going to be dominating the British box office probably until, actually no, to be fair, Venom comes out next week. I reckon it's weird because it's like such different audiences. Like obviously working at cinema, a lot of old people come watch James Bond, but they're not going to come out for Venom. And then also Venom's at 15. So like a lot of teenagers like in the like 12 to 14 bracket who'd want to watch Venom can't. So
I'm also not that bothered about Venom because the first one wasn't that good.
Yeah, I didn't really like the first one, but I'll still I'm not even excited. It's just kind of there. It's kind of there, and I know it's going to be big. Because I'm not even excited. Yeah, it's a weird one. I've heard it's like a rom-com between him. That's the vibe you get. It's like a rom-com between him and like Tom.
I think
Eddie
because
Brock and Venom.
The first film, what went well for them was that relationship between Eddie Brock and Venom. So they've kind of been like, oh, we'll make this like a bigger part of the next film. And I think the way the Marvel film, like even the MCU, they're kind of just like, oh, the funnier films do better and people enjoy them more. So we're just going to do that. Because Venom, the first one was quite serious. So I think they're trying to do that kind of thing as well with the new one. Obviously, I haven't seen it, so I don't actually know, but that seems the like impression I'm getting from it.
It sounds like they're going to lean into the silliness of it all, which makes sense.
Yeah.
But, but I'm not talking about Venom the next episode. Okay, no, I don't usually say the next episode bit here. Keep forgetting that. Forget that tie-in. At Corona Cinema on Instagram, at LeoWait98 on Twitter, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, Stitcher, Podbean, what days? My throat. Fucking hell, it's been long. Next week, what it is I know, did I just delete the tab? Fuck, I delete the tab. Oh, no, but I do know what it is, because June is Dune. Is it Dune or June? I don't actually know.
I don't know, because whenever I say June to people, they're like, what? And I'm like, Dune. They're like, oh. Whenever I say Dune to people, they're like, what? And I go, yeah, June. So like, I don't know. Dune. I end up the same June.
I'm gonna say Dune from now on. I've decided.
I usually say Dune.
Like sand. No, I'm about to say like sand dunes, but I say sand dunes.
Yeah, so do I.
Okay, Dune. That's the main review. Denis Villeneuve's latest film.
Dune.
Oh my god. Dune. 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 You say Dune?
Dune.
Can I have 2 tickets to Dune, please? So we're gonna do 2. Basically, I picked the 2 Denis Villeneuve films that are on streaming. I'm pretty sure there's only 2.
We've done Arrival on the podcast before as well.
Yeah, we've done Arrival on the podcast. Enemies on Mubi, but that's not traditional streaming. Traditional is the wrong word. Normal streaming, mainstream streaming. But we've got Prisoners versus Sicario. I love Sicario. Until then, go well.
Cheers.